everybody. This is Brady Henderson from the First Baptist Church of Gaston, and you are listening to the Menorah Podcast, the podcast that seeks to share the light, speak the light, and send the light of Jesus Christ all across the airwaves of the internet. And I'm super excited today. Today is August 28th. We had a great night last night of revival with Pastor West Church, and we're going to have another great night with Josh Powell tonight, Marshall Blaylock tomorrow. But we're going to pick back up this week with our Pastor's Perspective mini-series. We've had several pastors on. We took a break to talk about our partnership with Swansea High School 2 weeks ago. And then last week I talked to you from Myrtle Beach. And Alan, I'll be honest, I kind of miss Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, I bet so.
In this moment. But anyway, I'm super excited. We have a great friend of mine that's on the cast today that I want you to get to know a little bit better, as he is a great pastor, but at least to me, an even better friend who I've gotten to know over the last year and really appreciate. Blair Smith is the senior pastor of Irmo First Baptist Church, and I'm super excited to be able to have him on today. Blair, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing great now that I get to hang out with you for a little bit.
I hear you, man, via the telephone. So Blair, I kind of want our folks to get to know you. One of these days, I'm going to have you over to preach, and so they'll be able to listen to this, and once they hear you preach one day, they'll be able to put a face to the information that they're going to hear today. But tell me a little bit about how you came to know Jesus. I know you've got an 843 area code, and I know where you're from, but why don't you just tell our listeners a little bit about where you grew up, your salvation story, all that good stuff.
Happy to. I'm from Dillon, South Carolina, and grew up at First Baptist Church of Dillon under Dr. Cullum, Dickie Cullum, and man, just grew up in the faith. My testimony is a little bit like Timothy's, as far as like my mama and my grandma were hugely influential and lead me to the Lord. And just, man, it's a really fun story. I love to tell it because, I can't remember a day I didn't believe in God. I can't remember a day I didn't, pray, and then just one day it all came to a head. I was about 8 years old, and I was in the bathtub, and I was just playing with my toys. And then all of a sudden, man, this dread came upon me, and I said, wait a second. Am I a believer? Like, where do I stand with the Lord? And so thankfully, growing up, I knew the gospel, and I knew what to do in that moment. And I just said, Lord Jesus, come into my heart, and I just want you to be my Lord and Savior forever. And
Amen.
That was it, man.
Amen.
And so special. Been baptized a few months after that. And man, the coolest part of my testimony when I was younger, though, I do love to share this, is that as many new believers experience, doubt just comes on. Are you really saved? Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
did this really happen? And so, man, it plagued me just as an 8-year-old kid, I was just like, man, this is tough. And for a couple of months, probably. And then one night I just was, we were getting ready for bed. I got into my parents' bedroom and got behind a chair in their room and was just on my knees and just prayed. And I said, Lord, I know you've saved me. I said, God, you are God. And that's that. And man, I didn't go for doubting until I'd probably reached the college age. And
Gotcha.
that was just an awesome testimony of the Lord in my life right there. It was awesome. But yeah, that's a little brief of it, man.
Well, that's great, man. Well, what about your call to preach?
Oh man, always had a love for the word. My mama and grandma always patient with me, asking tons of questions. Pastor Cullum as well, very patient with me. When I got into youth, about 12, I started really reading my Bible, and just couldn't get enough of it. And so moving from then, just really influenced by my youth pastor, Michael Sapp, very deep, very philosophical, very biblical based. And so it was just very intense youth training. And man, the love for the word, I love to share it. And so just going from sharing devotions at school and teaching, little FCA stuff. From there, I just prayed very intently. And so I tell this story, and it was great when I was in youth ministry, full time, like I still minister to the youth, Lord willing. And but I love to tell them this story because I was in the eighth grade going into my ninth grade year, and I didn't want to be one of those kids that graduated high school and had no clue what they were doing. That made no sense to me. But that was the case for a lot of people during the 90s, I
Yeah.
guess, or early 2000s, you would say. It was like you graduate, you go to college, and now it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
That's a different conversation. Book me for that one.
Okay.
But
I will.
all the,
I will
all the,
definitely do that.
all to say is that I pray daily, man, multiple times a day. Father, just show me what you want me to do. What do you want me to do? And he just laid a heart on me to go into youth ministry, and then I confirmed it through elders in the faith at my church. And man, from then on, I was just directly focused in that direction. And so, um, went to USC knowing I was going into seminary,
Great.
and yep, majored in philosophy, and then went to Erskine Theological Seminary, where my love for the word just grew even more.
That's awesome. You got any thoughts of a PhD or no?
Man, I do. I keep that door open. I keep praying and asking for the Lord to guide me on when. And I feel like he's getting close. Like I filled out applications, started to fill out applications before, and just the Lord hadn't given me the green light on it. But yes, definitely going to plan on pursuing that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I actually just filled out an application to go to Southern for my PhD in January. So
Right.
we'll see if that happens, and if that's the Lord's will, if I get accepted and all that. But anyway, so tell us about your started ministry. When did you start? Where did you start? I heard a little bit about Erskine. How many churches have you been at? All that good stuff.
Man, I have been at First Baptist Irmo my whole time.
Awesome.
They are the best church family I could ever ask for. They are just amazing, amazing people. And so, great story. I was in seminary at Erskine. My wife was at physical therapy school at USC. She's a physical therapist, Lindsay.
Okay.
Uh, but her best job's as a mama for sure,
Gotcha.
to me and my two kids. but So yeah, after my first year, I was working part time, just with work at a friend's, and the Lord just burdened me like, you got to get in the ministry. I was like, yes, sir. And so I went to one of my pastors. I went to Pastor Cullum. He had a friend over in Irmo because I'm in Columbia, and so like so many big churches, and I just knew the Lord wasn't calling me to that. And so, man, we came and visited Irmo. We joined. And a couple months later, they needed a youth pastor. I stepped in,
Wow.
and then they
Very
called me to be
organic.
the associate. Yeah, they called me to be an associate pastor in 2015, and then just a couple of years ago, as Pastor McCrary retired, they called me to be the senior pastor, man. And so, yeah, awesome stuff, man.
Well,
The
talk a
Lord's
little
so
bit about
faithful.
that. So you spent a good bit of time as a full-time associate and youth pastor and then transitioning to senior pastor. What is that like, and how hard is that? I mean, for me personally, I was a youth pastor for only 16 months at a church in the upstate, Hillcrest Baptist in Williamston, and then God, in a really crazy supernatural way, called me down here to First Baptist Gaston.
Mm,
I've been here for almost 5 years now, so I don't really know what it's like to not be a senior pastor, other than those 16 months that I was an associate for a great senior pastor. So just kind of tell me what that transition was like for you.
super tough and not from like the practical day to day stuff, but just from the spiritual part, because the Lord kind of brought us to a season of, kind of happened in May of, let's see here, what would that have been, 2022.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so it's kind of when it really started taking shape. But that February, the Lord had just put it on my heart, like, okay, you're I'm calling you to preach. And I was kind of sad about it because like we love Irmo. Like we did not want to leave First Baptist Irmo.
Gotcha.
And so spent a month praying, spent a month prepping a resume, and then the end of April sent it out, and then May, Pastor McCrary retired, and then I was like, okay, Lord, you get us ready to leave. We say we're leaving, we're ready to go, and then you say stay. And so it was kind of funny, but also that's what he does.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
it was tough, but So from a practical standpoint, man, I just know it's probably different from each person. Um, our situation, I was very active in my associate pastor role. I did a whole bunch of things. And I was, the Lord was just preparing me every step for it.
Yeah.
For sure, definitely for sure. Still doing youth, overseeing a majority of the ministries, and but not being able to preach week to week was hurting. I was like,
Yeah.
man, I'm ready to go, man. And so yeah, that was kind of it. I think transition. I think what was really cool, that I think it's really just the grace of our people. I think it says a lot about a church when they're able to accept this guy that came in as a kid at 23 and has been here faithfully, but like, I earned a lot of mercy from them, but they truly have given me a lot of grace
Yeah.
in that. And so I think, anybody in that situation I think the church has a lot to do with it. And then just, your work ethic. So like man, in First Timothy, when he says to treat older men as fathers, younger men as brothers, older women as mothers, and sisters and younger women as sisters in all purity, like God tells us this is our family. Treat them like your family. And so I
Yeah.
did that since day one.
Yeah.
And that was just it. It's really how you love your people. One of my favorite professors, he was preaching leadership professor, but he said, you earn the right to preach on Sundays with how you take care of the flock during the week.
Hmm.
And I was like, man, he nailed it. He nailed it. Dr. Leslie Holmes. He's great.
That's
Look him
awesome.
up.
Well, that's awesome. So you walked into First Baptist Irmo as a member, and about 12, 13 years later, you're the senior pastor.
Right? Crazy.
Okay, so anybody who's wanting to be a pastor, walk into a random church, and then hey, maybe 12 years later. No, I've heard that
Yeah.
happen with other guys, not just you. It's really cool how God does that. So I've watched several of your sermons. I've watched several of the stuff at Irmo First Baptist. One thing I really appreciate about you guys that I haven't seen as much in our association is you guys have kept a very traditional worship service.
Sure.
And I'm not getting into the argument of contemporary or traditional. I think I'm one of those guys. The method doesn't matter to me as long as the method is working to reach your people, right, in your
Mm-hmm.
community. And so I know for us, we're a little bit more contemporary compared to you guys, but we're still on the same team. And I've noticed, I've watched y'all. Brett DeYoung, you and some others are sitting up on the podium and everything. Just takes me back
Yeah.
to when I was a kid seeing that kind of stuff. So just tell me a little bit about Irmo's niche, so to speak, and how you guys are able to keep that traditional feel and still get young families.
Dude, I'm so glad you asked that question, man, because I grew up during the whole worship wars thing when I was in a youth, and I
Yeah.
just thought they were so stupid.
Oh yeah.
And because I'm like, switching to two services, I'm like, y'all know there's one service in heaven, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. Hmm.
and but I get it, dude. I totally get it. Being young enough to understand the music today, but being old enough to know the blessing of the hymns and the formality of it and the structure. I mean, there's some depth there too. And as a parent, I want to say like, now that our oldest daughter, she's 8, and our son's about to turn 4, Bailey, Ann, and Grady Blair. But I want them to know the hymns, right? And so it means a lot as a parent. I think that's actually had an effect with some of the younger families as well. But our niche, I guess you could say, is, and I still say this sometimes. I'm like, y'all, we're a small Southern Baptist church right in the middle of Irmo, and true. I'd say like when people think Southern Baptist, like I think we're still holding firm to that idea of it. Coming in, we're wearing suits and ties. We're on the podium. We've got the organ or the piano blasting, and
Yeah.
full choir,
Oh yeah.
great
You
choir.
guys.
Oh
You
my
guys.
goodness.
You guys definitely have the traditional setup.
Yes. And so, so yeah, so like that's us. We just got a love for worship. We're a church family devoted to the word. to worship, to fellowship, and the ministry of the gospel. And that's not just our mission statement, that's really who we are. So worship matters a lot to us at First Baptist Irmo.
Yeah.
And that comes through. But when it comes to younger families, we definitely get older members, but we've grown, man. We've just had the Lord's blessed us with amazing growth the last couple of years. And we've got them in all ages. It's been amazing to see when I've had baptisms and I've had, young men, especially coming into the faith, is encouraging. Young adult men,
Yeah.
but when you're baptizing, 8-year-old and a 60-year-old,
Yeah.
or 70-year-old, right? Like it's so special. And so I will just summarize it to this: at least the young folks that we have coming, I say young, if I can still be called a young folk, is it's just due to the preaching. We preach verse by verse. We are expository, and our job is to dive deep into the scriptures. We don't skip over anything. We hit the hard stuff,
Yeah.
and that's what really matters. That's what folks need, I think, in this time where our world is so full of what is truth, or the truth doesn't matter. Like, people are craving the truth, and we've
Absolutely.
got the truth right in front of us. And so I would just say that's the biggest deal. I mean, we love contemporary, though. Like, we sing contemporary hymns. Our choir sang 10,000 Reasons just yesterday.
Yeah.
We just don't do it with a guitar and a drum set.
Yeah.
Um, and that's okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I
yeah,
think I
hopefully that
think all
answers it.
kind of yeah. No, you answered it. I think all kind of different methods are great as long as we don't get too caught up on one or hung up on another. And can still
Yeah.
worship. So, Blair, tell me a little bit about your involvement. I knew of you thanks to Brett DeYoung, who's a Greer boy in your congregation. And it just seems the last few months, my Greer connections just keep popping up. I had two people in church yesterday who are originally from Greer. So anyway,
Wow.
that's neither here nor there. But did want to ask you a little bit about your involvement in the association. I know you have served with me on the pastors, director of mission search committee, or whatever the
Yes.
official title is. I'm awful at that. And I
I
know,
still call it DOM.
yeah,
So
that's
yeah.
that's what I call it. And I know you were the vice chairman of that team, and I really feel like our team just meshed. I feel like we had a
Hmm.
great relationship, and what a lot of people don't understand is we weren't just a DOM search team. We actually were the futuring team before that. And so we spent a
Yeah.
whole year together before starting this process. And of course, now it's already been announced, but Lee Butler is the candidate. And, that's already been publicly released. So, anyway, we're going to vote on that as association on September the 11th. But just talk with me a little bit about your involvement in the association and what that means to you.
Man, oh, we are so blessed, brother. Like, I would put the Lexington Baptist Association against any other one, though it's not a competition. But man, I'm so thankful to be a part of this association. Like, Johnny Rumbo has done just an amazing job, and like, all praise to the Lord for all that He's brought our association through and to, and where we're at right now. It's amazing. He was influential when I came on as senior pastor to keep my head in the right direction, and I just can't speak enough about Johnny, and what a testimony for the Lord using him to call us together, because this group we've had with us on the search future team and search committee, and I know you said it too, has just been a blessing.
Yeah.
Just been a huge blessing. I mean, just the way we've connected with guys and each other, and how that's overlapped with situationally with stuff. I've probably reached out to on each one of y'all at some point in time with, hey man, what are your thoughts on this? And those are just things that are so valuable. So just personally, the association's just been amazing to me, and that's to Johnny, and that's the pastors in it, and just the heart. We're all so geared about being obedient to Christ and shepherding our church as well, but also in the direction of getting the gospel out. And we're all on that same page, and it was just great. So my involvement with the association really grew, though, when I became the senior pastor, and been very thankful to be a part of it, and always willing to help do what we can to strengthen our churches in any way, shape, or form. And man, doing that futuring process was both like, as you know, like we are a healthy association. We're a strong association, which is great. And kind of seeing that and putting those pieces together and seeing where we're at. I don't know about you, but it gave me an even greater sense of responsibility to make
Yeah.
sure we got this decision right.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely felt the weight of it for sure.
And
It'd been
yeah,
almost 30 years since this process had been done, and I don't think any of the guys who were on that search committee that got Johnny were still living. If anybody knows that I'm wrong in that, please correct me. But yeah, it was quite the challenge. But anyway, Blair, I appreciate you. I'm going to go ahead and let you get out, and we've got another interview lined up here. Man, I just really appreciate hearing your heart, appreciate your friendship, and love what God's doing over there at First Baptist Irmo.
thanks, brother. Well, I'll be praying for you guys. Love you. Thanks for having me. I'll be praying for you guys during revival. May the Lord just increase the harvest greatly over this week and bless y'all mightily, man.
Well, thank you,
Thank
brother.
y'all.
Thank you, brother. All right, man. We'll get together soon, okay?
Sounds good, bro.
All right. Well, that was an interview with Blair Smith, the senior pastor of the Irmo First Baptist Church. And so, Allie, that was pretty neat. What are your thoughts?
He seemed like a very genuine person.
Oh, yeah.
I heard an excitement in his voice about what he was currently doing and about how his life has progressed. I was kind of interested in the fact that he joined Irmo and then was called as an associate and now
Yeah, now the
the senior
pastor.
pastor. It's
Yeah.
you really don't hear of that much,
No.
but I really he did a really good job.
Yeah, he did. He did. That was a lot of fun. So, all right, guys, next week we're going to have a special interview with Chet Andrews, and so that's going to be very exciting. Just as a reminder, I won't be with you Sunday. I didn't take a Sunday off either before or after my beach vacation, so I am going to take this one off for Labor Day. Hannah and I are going to travel a little bit, spend some one-on-one time together. So, anyway, thanks so much for tuning in to the 79th episode of the Menorah Podcast. Today is Thursday, August 28th, and we will see you tonight for Revival at 7 p.m. with Dr. Josh Powell preaching the Word. Thank you so much, and we will see you. Hopefully, you'll be seen by Pastor Steve on Sunday. I probably won't see you then, but I'll see you tonight, and I'll see you tomorrow. You've been listening to the Menorah Podcast. The podcast seeks to share the light, speak the light, and send the light of Jesus Christ all across the airways of the internet. Thank you for tuning in.